I want you to think about a time you were in some type of negotiation with someone else and you just felt like things were going nowhere. This could be something from your personal life, such as negotiating a business deal, or something as simple as negotiating what show to watch with your spouse. You weren't going to budge, and they weren't going to budge either. But what if I told you there was a better way to go about this discussion? Instead of that hopeless stalemate where nothing gets accomplished, where personal conflict and power struggles seemingly cease to exist. In Getting to Yes, Negotiating Agreement Without Giving In, Roger Fisher and William Ury introduce core principles that turn hopeless negotiations into win-win outcomes. And they do this by overcoming barriers, by addressing identity-based conflicts, and achieving collaborative solutions. By emphasizing separating people from the problem, focusing on interests rather than positions, and knowing your BATNA. Getting to yes transforms hopeless negotiations into win-win solutions. Separate people from the problem. This is the first concept I want to introduce. It is imperative that emotional attachment and relationship status be excluded from negotiating conflict in discussions. Too often, our personal emotion towards the other person we are negotiating with hinders our ability to find the best possible outcome. Whether we're just jealous of them, we've had issues in the past, or we just simply don't like who they are, our judgment and main focus of finding a solution, uh, they're clouded. Now, some techniques to give us the best chance of finding a solution with this person include active listening, trying to see things from their perspective, and constructively addressing the emotional tension. Here's a great example of this concept. Picture two teenage siblings. They both have active social lives and they have just started driving. One's a little bit older than the other. Their dad is gone for the weekend, which means only mom's car is available for the two teenagers to use. This creates lots of tension in the house. The two siblings, they argue over who gets the car for the weekend. And you know, the typical sibling argument where voices get raised pretty quickly and terms like shut up and stupid are constantly being used towards one another. The younger one complains that the older sibling always gets the car, and the older sibling just thinks that's just so ridiculous. But I am the oldest, so I get dibs on the car this weekend. So in this scenario, right now it's very, very hectic. And right now there's a lot of tension and personal emotion towards the other party. Instead of focusing on these personal attacks towards one another and exercising what the traditional method is well, only one person can get it, and that's it. The other person's done for the weekend. Um, we need to take a step back. So we need to take a step back and think about, well, why do you need the car this weekend? Well, each one asks each other this, and they ultimately realize, well, hey, I need the car only on Saturday, and I need the car only on Sunday. So separating this sibling jealousy and instead of focusing on the person, we're able to find an agreeable solution. And everyone gets to enjoy their weekend with their friends and their parties and whatever else teenagers do and find fun on the weekends nowadays. So the next concept I want to introduce from Getting to Yes is focusing on interests and not positions. So a simple one sentence explanation of this concept would be understanding underlying interests leads to mutually beneficial solutions. We know from studies and personal experience that bargaining over positions rarely leads to successful negotiations. And so let me backtrack real quick. And what do I mean by positions and interests? What are those things? Well, positions are what someone wants, and interests are why someone wants it. By focusing on the why instead of the what, we create this collaborative problem solving, between the two parties in order to find this win-win outcome. That's what we're after, this win-win solution. So an example from module 2 in the additional learning section, there was a funny YouTube video demonstrating this concept of fighting over an orange. There was a chef in the video, and there was, I think, a runner, a guy who had just got done exercising. There was one orange left on the table. In the first scenario, we see where both have the orange in their hand and they're wrestling over who gets the orange. And this demonstrates this concept of a winner take all. They fast forward and go to another scene. In the other scene, the chef is holding the orange. And he asks the runner, okay, hold on. Why do you want the orange? Not what you want. Why do you want the orange? Well, the runner says, I just want the juice of the orange. I just want the juice. And the chef, he looks at himself and goes, well, I just want the peels, the orange peels. So both parties are able to satisfy their needs simply by focusing on the interests rather than the positions. Again, the why instead of the what. Focusing on and identifying each individual's interests will help maximize these potential solutions. The last concept I want to get across is knowing your BATNA. And BATNA stands for your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So before negotiating, it's imperative you know what your best alternative is. A strong BATNA is important for 3 reasons. 1, it gives you negotiating leverage. 2, it promotes great negotiating confidence levels. And 3, it prevents the possibility of accepting a bad deal. Now, a great example of this was from a case study we did earlier in the course about a highly sought-after soccer player who was receiving what he believed to be a low offer from his current club. Now, he had several other options from different clubs and leagues that offered a various amount of attractions. Now, these other offers had their pros and cons, but this gave the player huge confidence, him and his team, huge confidence when going into negotiating with his current club, because they had to increase their current offer based on what attractions he was receiving elsewhere. But he knew even if his current club wasn't willing to increase their position, he had these other potential options that satisfied what he believed to be his overall worth. I really enjoyed this case study because as an athlete and an active sports fan, I see and hear about situations like this all the time with these highly attractive stars. And so in conclusion, getting to yes, it shifts our approach to conflict negotiation. Separating people from the problem, focusing on interests rather than positions, and knowing your BATNA are all ways to turn these stubborn stalemates into productive newfound solutions for both parties. Not only do these concepts offer negotiation solutions, but they also help aid in building leadership qualities. They strengthen and build the trust within our relationships, and they further lead to agreements in the future. So the next time you find yourself in a negotiation with someone, let whatever emotions you have towards them go. Focus on collaboration instead of confrontation, and know your best alternative. This way we can avoid unnecessary conflict, and we can leave with everyone having a smile on their face. Thank you.